Howdy fellow model railroaders, my name is Kevin Brown. I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. This episode is going to be dealing entirely with redoing the track work and finishing out everything for the Misseapolis section of my layout. Those of you who've been with me for a little while know that this was never really finished on the old layout behind me, but I did manage to get the structures done. I'm very proud of them. I'm looking forward to getting this all worked out together. I ordered all the track work I'll need, but unfortunately some of it hasn't come in yet, particularly the stuff goes way down there. So what I'm going to do is module at a time, work on this track work, and get it in shape for the final layout. Next I guess I'll show you this module, which is what I'm going to start with, the bridge before shot with an explanation of what needs to be done. Stay tuned. First I want to start with the bridge module. Basically the big thing is adding this extension of track. This will be the yard lead, the end of the yard lead. Also decided I'd like to put a road crossing up this way, and I need to do quite a lot of work on the wiring down there. It's still kind of a mess. So I've got all the stuff in stock for that, so that's the first step. We'll see how it works out. Okay, the track work and wiring is down on the bridge module. You can see over here I have the crossing in place, and I put that there for no other reason than I like re-railers, even though they're kind of ugly. If I can find an excuse to put a re-railer in somewhere, I will. So that's why that's there. You can see the buffer stop on what will be the yard lead here, and the other tracks are back where they were. And I also managed to clean up, I don't know if I can show this, the wiring underneath here a little bit. It's still kind of interesting, but a lot better than it was. So, one module done, two more to go. Second Misseapolis module, I've got all the track laid out, pretty much where things are going to go. First, before I put any track down, I have not used a lot of the Kato number 4 switches. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 of them here. The rest of the layout, there's really not that many. Unfortunately, they are not the most reliable, not as reliable as you would expect. There is a quickie fix to try, which basically means making sure that the switch closes more completely and doesn't get picked. I'm going to have to do that first. If you're looking for, the video is called a good video on the subject. It's titled N-Scale Kato number 4 turnout modification, and it's by Pfeiffer Hobby. So I recommend you, if you're interested in using these 4s, and sometimes you kind of have to, check that video out. I'm going to try and do the modification, which involves pulling this rail out, filing a little bit in there so that the rail will seat in there a little better, and shoving the rail back in. I gotta admit I'm a little hesitant about doing that, but if that'll improve the operation, then go for it. So that's next, but of course it's a matter of changing the switches, modifying the switches, putting this in, powering everything. So that's gonna be, it'll take a while. So let's see how things all turn out. As you can see, the first Misseapolis module is now completed, the track work at least. I did do the modifications, the Kato number 4s. It really wasn't as difficult as I was afraid it was going to be, but I did have one I pulled a little too far, and trying to get it seated back into a little gold colored power contact, that was interesting. Many nasty words were said, but I got it fixed. With a little care, I don't think it's that big a problem to get that modification done, and if it improves reliability, I'm all for it. So now the track work's in, I can put the industries where they're going to go. So I've made some pretty good progress. Now it's time to work on the last of the Misseapolis modules for the track work. So what's left is the last Misseapolis module. Here's the track as it exists now. I need to place a double crossover here and a couple number 4s here to give me access to these industries. So that's the next step. It does mean I have to modify 2 more Kato number 4s. I'm feeling a little more confident about that, and probably won't have to, hopefully I won't have to struggle with it like I did last time. So stay tuned, we'll see how this all works out. Okay, now the track work is all laid on the last Misseapolis module. As you can see, I placed the industries where they're going to go. I think there'll be some interesting industrial switching throughout this, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I think I forgot to mention I also have to, of course, put the continuation of the yard lead. This module over here, I'm going to try and do as little industrial modeling as I can, more emphasizing non-industrial scenery. The main purpose of this over here is going to be the 2 leads that go into the yard, but I'm not really in a hurry to start working on that. The next project I want to work on, actually, now that Misseapolis, all the track work is in, is start working across in the other room and start making the staging yard much more useful, have a lot more choices as far as trains to run and what I can keep back there. I'm going to have to plot that out a little bit, and because it requires quite a few switches, it's going to take a little while. I try and stick with a budget, so a little bit at a time I'll start working on that and expanding that. And then after that, it's the classification yard, Belair Yard I'm going to call it, and then that's kind of the major track work done on the entire layout, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting to that point. So yeah, that's a project done, and I'm very happy and I'm pleased with the way it's going to work. I guess next I want to clean everything up and get some trains running. So hopefully I'll leave you with some scenes, some trains running through Misseapolis and other parts of the layout. So I hope you enjoy what you see. There is one other thing I wanted to go over real quick, just a quick show. I found a better place to store this module, the bridge, and it comes apart a lot easier now that I've changed the wiring a bit. I just have to unhook those 2 wires, pry this stuff apart, and not through planning on my part, it fits really nicely on this shelf. Out of the way, and it makes it easier to get through and work on it, and I didn't want the lift out section to be such a pain that I wouldn't take it out ever and I have to duck under it, and I don't bend that well anymore. So anyway, I've got a nice solution for that problem. I'm very happy with that. So yeah, back to track cleaning. See you in a bit. So that's kind of the end of the Misseapolis project. I always feel good getting something accomplished, and I also always feel good about getting a chance to clean the layout back off and get some trains running. So that's kind of that. Normally right about now I talk about the activities of my club, the N scale of Bloomington Normal, and frankly we're still not doing much of anything. The next meet we're hoping to go to, convention train show, whatever, isn't until September, if that doesn't get canceled. So we're hopeful. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow night, in fact, will be our third meeting via Zoom, which is, better than nothing. It's good to get caught up with everybody, but there's no substitute for getting together and playing with trains. So I'm looking forward to this all coming to an end. We can get back to some semblance of normal. As always, if you like what you've seen, please hit like and subscribe, and I hope to catch you next time. Before I leave, I'd like to have a quick shout out to a friend of ours. So I hope you enjoy this, and we'll catch you next video. Thank you very much. Now for something completely different. Got new hats. All of us, both of us. From Cousin Vinny. We'd like to wish Vinny a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cousin Vinny.
Happy birthday, Cousin Vinny.
From Mia,
Oscar, the boss, and me.
Happy birthday, Vinny.